You know what, family? There's no point in Shedeur Sanders playing for the Cleveland Browns this season. Shout out to everybody. So, you know what, family? We have to talk about this conversation. We got to get in depth into it because I started thinking about it, bro. You were correct the whole time, bless one. And my supporters were correct. A lot of you guys peep game what we said prior to the draft, especially me. Listen to me. There's absolutely no reason for Shedeur Sanders to play another snap in practice, the so-called practice squad, for the Cleveland Browns this season. None. And I'm going to break down exactly why, because this situation has gone from frustrating to embarrassing to downright just sabotage mode. And a lot of people don't want to have that conversation. We're going to do it here. Look, I took a little days. You get it, but I'm here. Some of the toughest things to go through is to fight through your own mental. So, hey, man, we back here. And mine's is just stress, taking care of a whole lot of things. But blessings to all of y'all. Let's start the show the right way.
Mama say it's my fault. It's my fault. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Niggas bless up on my.
Let's be honest, y'all. Coach Kevin Stefanski, whatever you want to choose to call him, he should have been gone years ago. I'm talking about years ago. But somehow this organization and Jimmy Haslam, they chose to give this guy much extra time and space that not even other male coaches are given that type of green light. And he's been given the full green light, ladies and gentlemen, to derail, delay, and sabotage the development path of a franchise quarterback they claim they believed in. Coach Kevin Stefanski told everybody this was a quarterback competition, but when was this a quarterback competition? If it was a real competition, when you put Dillon in there, you'll put Shedeur, but that's the problem. You can't put Shedeur Sanders in there. You know why? He's never had a certain amount of reps to be ready to be in that position. I'm going to protect Shedeur as well. As much as at first I wanted him to be in the actual games or whatever, I think it was by week 3 I realized, damn, I was correct about the second option of what would happen to Shedeur, which would be we'll see in full picture 4K. Well, in these days in 2025, in 8K, we get to watch vividly for the very first time how an organization is purposely taken away from the growth of an actual player, i.e. Colin Kaepernick. This is the first time where we've never seen evidently clear where a player can actually have an actual lawsuit where it actually will be victory, bro. It will be victorious, man. Let's just be real. Because what's happening to Shedeur Sanders is the worst. We're going to put him in when there's like 4 games left to be like, I told you guys, there was no point in having Shedeur than to get rid of him and make it look worse. It's much more better Shedeur doesn't even show up for this lowly, awful, pitiful season. It's much better for Shedeur. It behooves Shedeur Sanders to fall back and let that crash educational purpose show go on. Just stay out of it. Because they failed Shedeur. As much as I believe in Shedeur gifts, I believe in his accomplishments. I know he can excel in the NFL. Did you see the garbage quarterback play for the last 4 years in the NFL? There's only been a handful of quarterbacks we can say they're okay. And even in that handful, some of them, they'll do good this year, fall off that year, do good again. They're inconsistent. So I believe Shedeur can do well, but nobody, I don't care if it's Superman, if you're not prepared and developed properly, doesn't matter how much gifts you got. You're going out there and you're being set up to fail. There is no point at no time for Shedeur Sanders to be on that field. He has never got the reps that Dillon, the scrub, got. And I don't even want to come at Dillon right now. Let's just speak in honesty here. Dillon Gabriel, no matter how trash we think he is, like I know he's trash, but I'm being very fair. He looks somewhat serviceable because if you get enough reps, even Oscar the Grouch can come out looking like he belongs. And that's the problem. Shedeur never had his preparations for that. So although he can get in there, throw a 20-yard pass, a 50-yard, but in the long run, and if we're speaking on consistency, can Shedeur keep that up with just skill only? No, you need reps. I don't care how great you are. And those reps were tarnished and taken away by this franchise. Coach Kevin Stefanski lied. I've played ample amounts of videos in time that showed in 4K clear picture out of his own words and publications that they written down where he said certain quarterbacks would be limited in reps, but that will happen with all of them. And I told you guys, not true. He only met Shedeur. Even Bailey Zappi has gotten more reps during the time when his first week, I think it was. A reporter put that out there, and because it went out there way too much, they had to stop that for a little bit. This was factual. So when we're looking at the development growth of a Shedeur Sanders that they claim they believed in, you don't treat your so-called player and personnel like that, especially a guy that I heard Jimmy Haslam said he's the future. See? That BS talk they do with us. You don't treat a rookie like this. I don't care if he's a reserve player or not. And you definitely don't treat Shedeur Sanders, one of the most talented and mentally strong young quarterbacks we've seen in years, like this. I mean, look at what's going on in Boulder right now. You go talk to those Colorado players and former players, and you go ask them, was Shedeur a generational talent there? Because when it's other Mayo quarterbacks or watered down generic versions of Shedeur's out there, you guys give them passes and be like, this guy is the man, even though their team are ridiculously trash. And then it doesn't transition into the NFL and wins because you get Mitch Trubisky. Trash season, put him in the NFL, trash seasons. Daniel Jones, although he's doing good in his 7th year, but let's not pretend he's he's not another Geno Smith. What did he do prior to that winning year this year? Rest in peace to Jimmy Irsay. What did he do? Trash season. That means it took him 7 years to finally be serviceable. Shedeur was good to go. We seen it. When it's guys like him, he gets discredited. Oh, it was Travis Hunter, blah, blah, blah. And we seen how Shedeur played when Travis Hunter was not on the field, when he was injured at Jackson State University and during those Colorado cold days. We've seen a guy who was durable. He was just the measurable talents you can smell and see exudes from Shedeur since he was at those overtime elite videos and documentaries they did on him. You've seen it. But the goalpost keeps on getting moved over and over. First of all, how is a quarterback supposed to grow when he's barely allowed to touch the field? During practice, forget about game field, during practice. He's barely allowed to touch the field during practice. How can this become someone we expect to actually get in an NFL game during a proper time being properly developed? Let's stop pretending here. Shedeur has not given, or not, let me say it better. He has not been given the proper reps through head honchos such as Andrew Berry, the token, and other honchos such as, Kevin Stefanski. He hasn't been given that privilege like these other quarterbacks got to get ready. No reps mean you're gonna fail. No reps mean 2 steps. Yeah, and we ain't talking about dancing on the dance floor. You go ask all them dudes who they have a documentary on what could have been. That's what they're trying to do to Shedeur Sanders. And I'm going to open your eyes and not sugarcoat. I've never been known to sugarcoat. Shedeur has not been given the proper reps, the opportunities, the snaps, or the system support that every young quarterback in this league, no matter how JJ McCarthy got in, he was trash when he got drafted, if we're keeping it real. He got injured during the first practice and out of here for a year, and he got helped around. You look around the league, you got Cam Ward. We need to have a serious conversation about that because Cam Ward is being beaten by Dillon Gabriel. If we're being fair, no, guys, if we're being fair, good offensive lines or not, you're the #1 pick. And you guys told me Shedeur couldn't tie Cam Ward's shoes. And I told you, you're smoking something, and it ain't broccoli. It ain't broccoli. He hasn't been developed. He hasn't been prepared. He hasn't been allowed to play real football. What part of that don't you guys understand? I mean, am I not communicating properly with you guys? Maybe if I was Kevin Stefanski and I come with another watered down, redundant, obsolete interview, post-game interview that is, and act like my kryptonite when I hear Shedeur Sanders' name has been activated again. I mean, my God, you can't even reference Shedeur to Coach Kevin Stefanski. Tell me if I'm lying. Remember that? You go, oh, bless one. You're thinking too much. That was week 1. We're like in week 9 now or 10. I done lost track. You guys are all saying the same thing I've been saying prior. And it's not that I'm much more smarter than you guys. A lot of you guys, you don't want to be the first to take the licks and you're a follower. Because you knew this already. There is no way in hell, I don't care what ethnicity you are, you guys took a look at Dillon Gabriel's career, watched him play, watched that goddamn OTA, seen the rookie mini camps, you seen the preseason, you seen the training camps, and you said to yourself, this kid is way better than Shedeur Sanders. No way in hell. Because if you're one of the people who are claiming this, then fuck you. You don't like football. You don't watch football. Oops, you drop your skirt, bitch. We gotta keep it trill and real when it comes to this situation. And I'll say what everybody are afraid to say, bro. It is a complexion of the protection situation going on. A quarterback not touching the field. I'll say another thing loud and clear. I'll say what everybody inside that Ohio building won't say out loud. Shedeur Sanders has probably never taken a consistent first-team reps with the Browns offense, ever. I've been proving that over and over. He's probably never, bro, think about that, how crazy that is. Since he got off the plane and he went to those different high schools and gratiated himself to those Cleveland communities, he has yet to actually ever thrown to the first-team guys. Like, think about that. Not in preseason, not in training camp, not in practice during the regular season. But he's your second string quarterback. Second string. We know it's really Zach Bailey. Wait till y'all get y'all feelings hurt if something happened to that little munchkin Dillon. Just wait for that. How do you expect a young quarterback, the one you guys belittle with all your hate, you know what I'm saying? Egregious hate at that, because at least if you're going to hate, at least sound reasonable, sound in your argument. Let your argument be soundproof of me looking at you a complete clown who are just going through your insecurity process and your bait rage. You're pretending YouTube is Twitter now, because that's where you racists really live, is on Twitter. But we're not going to get into that. I got to watch this water show and pretend, oh, we really care about Shedeur Sanders. It's not about race. I'm supposed to pretend and subjugate myself to your bullshit. Think about that. How do you expect a young quarterback to be ready when he's throwing we heard, what was one of the sources we heard he was throwing to? The equipment manager? Maybe every now and then a backup receiver, but he's throwing to guys who don't even have a name tag on. Blocking behind garbage linemen during that preseason game who you released not even 24 hours later. You released all the offensive linemen who blocked for Shedeur during the preseason game except one. You released them, I'll say 11 to 12 hours after that game. That means you knew ahead of time you weren't keeping all of those guys or none of them. They weren't even the third string. These were fourth strings, i.e., aka quote unquote throwaway players, just fill-ins during the training camp and preseasons. And that's what you put Shedeur out there to display if he could play or not. And he just smiled. He didn't hate. He didn't say you sabotage him. But I'll speak for Shedeur. He's not in a position where, well, he is in a position to speak for himself. And I'm telling that young man, finally say something, brother. Because you're looking at the linemen they're giving you, and you're learning an offense in theory, not in real time. In theory, yeah. I said it, in theory, not in real time. This is NFL malpractice. It's Colin Kaepernick 2.0, but in this case, it could be proven with all malice. It can. This is like if it was in the military, what's a jurisdiction of duty? But with this, it's a deliberate thing that's set up that way. It's set up this way. No one is going to get in trouble for what they're doing to Shedeur or any other players or player who has to go through this and will go through this in the near future. So all you people mocking me or mocking the Shedeur thing, if you have kids who look like me and Shedeur, oh, you remember it. I warned you about Cam Ward, and look what I'm going to do a separate video. Look what they're doing to Cam Ward now. But you guys told me he's the #1 pick, so I guess he gets to be scathed away from all these type of criticisms. No, they can't play the game anymore. He got to be #1 for the downfall of the Sanders family. That was the only way to make this happen. Play one upon each other. This is Star Wars all over again. Luke, I am your father. But the only father over here is Shedeur. He's sonning every one of these quarterbacks. Have you seen the atrocious play of quarterbacks on Sunday and Saturdays? Because college football ain't looking any better. Because that quarterback over there at UCLA, Nico, my money is on him. If the scouts are real and they go by talent, my money is on Nico. I'm not available to be the #1 quarterback chosen because I've looked at these other quarterbacks they're hyping up. No, thank you, sir. Even Ark Manning, the garbage can, is better than some of these quarterbacks they're hyping up for the. Did you see the lead runner and the front runner in the Heisman race? He's supposedly going to be the #1 quarterback, and there's no criticism he's going to get that they placed upon Shedeur Sanders. These guys get to sit back and relax, right? Right? None of the trolls, none of the same crap going on in the comment sections with these other guys. If it's Mayo, I say so. Shedeur came into this league hungry, polished, and ready to learn. But what did Cleveland do? They sat him behind a quarterback whose ceiling is backup level. I'm not trying to come at Dillon Gabriel, but his ceiling is it's barely a journeyman, but it's backup level at the highest degree. They limited Shedeur Sanders' practice time. Am I lying? Yeah, I warned you guys about that. They're feeding you malarkey. When Kevin Stefanski came during those training camp interviews, y'all thought, once again, Bless, man, leave Shedeur alone. Let him prove himself right now, bro. It's a new team, bro. Not everybody thinks like you. And now you the same people bitching the way you're claiming I'm bitching, right? Make it make sense, but I know you people. Once again, you're a follower. You wait for the ruckus and the chaos to pursue. And then when it gets out of control, then you come on this side and act like you was with me and my supporters and calling this BS out, right? Where were you? Hiding in the corner and scavenging away as if you're going to be a prima donna and tell us who sees clearly what's going on, we're the ones who've lost our minds. Not this failed organization that's been a failure for well over 5 decades already. I mean, when is the Browns family are going to go from doo-doo Browns to actually the Browns? Because all I see is do and, yeah, you guessed it, do. Listen to me. They sat Shedeur behind this scrub quarterback. Even during the preseason action, we've seen what was being exhibited right before us. We've seen it. And now halfway through the year, more than halfway through the year, people have the nerve to say he doesn't look ready. Of course he doesn't look ready. You didn't prepare him. When Kevin Stefanski gets on air and he says this bullshit, of course Shedeur is not ready. What are you selling us here? You aren't even one of these type of oil snake salesmen. No, you're not even intelligent or clever enough to be that. You're the clown at the circus. We see the clown there, but we have to be part of the stitch because we don't want to bust the burble of Santa Claus not being real. You know, the fallacies that coaches like Kevin Stefanski are the top echelon of coaches. You know, they're the Mayo coaches. They're the most intelligent. They have the most strategic plans. Then you look at all these years, a couple of offensive coordinators he fired. He was in charge. This is his 3rd time failing with his own play calling and now making his offensive coordinator finally the guy to be the scapegoat because he's letting Tommy Reeves be the play caller now. Do you remember a guy by the name of Ken Dorsey? Remember the bullshit he did to Ken Dorsey? Who got placed the blame? Hey, Tom, hey, look, Reeves not going to be here no more because he's going to be placed the blame for this type of BS. You didn't prepare Shedeur. You get on camera and tell Mary Kay Kaba, oh, Shedeur is not prepared. Let's talk about Cleveland's track record. This organization has a history of mishandling quarterbacks. We've seen it right now. We can name Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield. Must I keep going? They burned through them, aka Tim Couch in 1999. They mismanaged them. They destroyed confidence early. And that same cycle is repeating itself right now with Shedeur Sanders. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what much more to say. Some of you guys act like this is still pre-K. You haven't advanced part or passed through that maturation process of life. And I'm scared for you guys. No, seriously. That's why I love my supporters. They make me feel very sane. Very sane. Kevin Stefanski is coaching scared, and none of these media personalities are going to call it out. He's coaching to protect his job, not to build his franchise. And when a coach is insecure, the young talent suffers. Oh, you guys are witnessing and watching it. You so-called brand new Dillon Gabriel supporters, because I've been watching Dillon since he was a sophomore in Hawaii at that island. You guys didn't even watch Dillon when he was at UCF. You didn't watch Dillon when he was at Oklahoma, but you watched him when he was in Oregon because you hated Deion Sanders and Colorado Buffaloes. You watched him with Cleveland Browns because it's still intertwining and connecting with the Sanders family. Oh, you don't like me? I speak only truth isms, but not the isms that come with him and her. That bullshit. No, that's a load of crap. At the end of the day, look at the decision making I told you guys. A guy and a coach like that has young talent suffering all around. Forget about Myles Garrett. I don't care about his rants because it's fake. He cares about the money only. I've debunked that and proved it only. I don't feel like arguing with you Myles Garrett supporters. You feel me? You're the same people who are falling in love with idols. Because I'm not looking at Shedeur as an idol. When I reference Shedeur and I stand on business for the Sanders family, I make sure not to negate the real part, and the elephant in the room is who they reflect and represent is us. So in all due reality, I'm using Shedeur as a magnifying glass through the lens of that to look at us, the melanated people. But you can't see through that. So you do the dumb jokes, gimmicks. Oh, he loves Shedeur. You can't see. And forget about the non-melanated people who make fun of me. I expect that of them. Well, failures and insecure, weak people who are judging characters and people based on complexions, that's a minuscule drop of spittle, meaning they mean nothing to me. So racist males don't count. But it be you, maestro knee grumps, running around here, stepping and fetching and saying all this blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you're more mad at me than the racist. And it's insane. He loves the Sanders family. Then you only look at the Sanders name. You're not really going in depth on my videos. You're not really clicking and watching my videos. You see the Sanders and you turn into a little bitch. Look at you. You're not even intercepting what I'm saying here. Are you even receiving it right now? My bad, this isn't a TikTok video. My bad, this isn't a 50-second, 30-second YouTube short that your brain capacity could deal with. You don't have the patience to listen to a grown-up like me speaking to you. You don't have the patience nor the wherewithal to even have the complexity to engage in this actual dietary. You don't. That's why you come with the gimmicks and jokes. I'm coming with football facts and just the regular everyday walk of life, knowledgeable things we all know. But look at you, the red nose, just like Kevin Stefanski. Look at the decision making of that weak coach. He's uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? When he says Shedeur's name, or when they say Shedeur names at him, he gets uncomfortable. But he's very comfortable losing games with pedestrian quarterback play. Am I lying, guys? He's uncomfortable hearing Shedeur Sanders' name. But Coach Kevin Stefanski is very comfortable losing games with pedestrian. Listen, bro. Pedestrian quarterback. I'm laughing because y'all going to think I'm being mean to Dillon Gabriel. I'm not. It's pedestrian quarterback play at best, guys. But he's terrified to let Shedeur go out there and make mistakes, learn and grow. Make it make sense. Shedeur can't be out there because he's not prepared. Yeah, you got a quarterback who you did prepare, and he's still ill-equipped to take the realms and helm at the quarterback position. His name is Dillon Gabriel. He's well prepared, but still ill-equipped to handle the offense. But you want me to believe letting Shedeur go out there and make mistakes is worse than what we're witnessing right now with the atrocious franchise that is known as the Cleveland Browns. God damn it, can't make this up. That tells you everything he's not coaching for tomorrow. He's coaching for his next paycheck. The nigga ain't coaching for tomorrow, y'all. He's coaching for his next paycheck. So at this point, there is zero reasons for Shedeur to step on that field this season. None. None at all. And Coach Prime knows that. That's why he say he don't give a damn about the Cleveland Browns. You all heard Coach Prime said that. Why set him up for failure? That's the real question I want to know. Minus the fact that you might not like men and women who look like me, who have my complexion. That's the easy thing. I know failures and weak, insecure people, they're uncomfortable with my melanation's victory of gift that God gave me, because this damn sure is the number one ingredient of life right here. You see this complexion? And whoo, the darker it is, when it gets this black, it's even, magnifique. It's even that much. Whew, man, it's exhilarating right now. It's even that much better. But the exhilarated feeling I feel saying I'm this, feeling that I'm this. That's why Coach Prime said he don't give a damn about your organization. And I don't. So why put Shedeur through that type of setup for failure? Why put him in behind an offense he hasn't even practiced with yet? Why throw him into a playbook he hasn't been allowed to fully run? Why expose Shedeur Sanders to the media narrative when you know the organization has done nothing to prepare him? Because you see ESPN and all these generic pundits talking about Shedeur ain't prepared. It's something Shedeur ain't doing. That's why he's not in the game yet. So now it's Shedeur Sanders' fault. If Shedeur Sanders is going to succeed, it's not going to be under the leadership we're seeing in Cleveland right now. It's not. Not with limited reps. Not with zero preseason development, zero regular season development, zero practice development. Not with a coaching staff that clearly doesn't know how to handle young quarterback talent. Let's just keep it even more real. Young black quarterback talents. I'm just honest, bro. When you get older, you don't got time for the BS, bro. So what, you lose friends? God gave me something better than you people as friends. He gave me the beautiful kids I got and my great supporters. Facts. I don't give a damn about no football fans. I care about real life. That's where you earn your stripes. Military taught me that. Believe it or not, the military taught me that. And my father. These are some of the great privilege coming from the hood. Because in the hood, despite your Charlie Kirk stats, in these hoods and ghettos, 90% of the fathers are in the homes. The kids might, go through peer pressure and do X, Y, and Z, and maybe the dad was a failed dad too. I'm not going to make excuses for that. I believe accountability is the real and best ability. But at the end of the day, we don't go through your stats is what I'm telling you. You're going to tell me who I was raised with and all that because you looked at a forum, you looked at a science journal, or no, you didn't even do any of that. You looked at a Charlie Kirk BS podcast, and then you went wild with it, and you know black people now. Who would have thought? But not with this failed organization, man. You can't build anything with this type of organization. So let me close with this, man. The Browns didn't draft a savior. They drafted a project and then refused to do the project. So I think Shedeur Sanders is legendary, but I'm not acting like he's a savior. No man and woman who isn't named Yeshua Yahweh Shah, the Most High, no man who is not that, you are not a savior. But guess what? He was a project that could be utilized to help the advantage of this organization. And the Browns didn't draft this project and then only to refuse to not help the project prosper and flourish to become something that can help the city, help the fans who have given their hard-earned money and tax dollars to pay towards. And that's why the smartest move for Shedeur Sanders right now is to wait. not because he isn't talented, not because he isn't ready mentally, but because they haven't given him the tools, the reps, nor the support he needs to show the world who he really is. And that's just a black man trying to get his own in this world we all are entitled to. Yes, entitled to. Entitled. We're not owed anything, but we are entitled to it because that's what your Constitution states. If we were in a jungle, then he's not entitled to it. I would agree with you. But in America, the country I love, you told me we have rights over here, right? Unless we look like, I'm not going to get into that. At the end of the day, man, they haven't given him the tools, the reps, or anything. And we know that. Cleveland failed him this season. And until this franchise gets a real leadership in the standing positions that they have actively there right now, then there's no point in risking Shedeur Sanders' future behind that gross mess. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm DJ Bless One, the best one. Love your family. Love your kids. Stay blessed.
Heart been broke so many times.